It's Friday, so you know what that means. It's another training log. Let's get into it. I'm Carl Ragavan, Europe's original starting strength coach. This is Beautiful Strength. Welcome to the show. Okay, so this week was quite interesting from a making mistakes, learning the hard way. So as a coach, I obviously have, over a decade of real lifting experience and then 2 decades of being in the industry. So I still make mistakes. So last week I decided to start rack pulls with 310 kilos. So coming out the gate quite hot. It's not a tough weight. It felt heavy, but it's been 8 or 7 weeks since I've had deadlifts in the program or heavy rack pulls. So placing a new stress back in the program, and it's over 90% of my best rack pulls, because I usually can pull 325 for sets of 3. So probably should have done the smart option and done 270 or 280, something like that for a set 5, but didn't, and paying the cost. So definitely feeling what we have described in the books, talking about how the back takes the longest to recover. So as you should already know, when we program deadlifts, we usually like 1 set of 5 for the stress component, because the back and those muscle groups take a long time to recover. So even now, I've still got some residual soreness in my back. So the way I can tell that I have lower back DOMs compared to like a tweak is usually whenever I've had a back tweak, it's one side of my back and it just kind of spasms. This feels like a whole belt of tightness that creates a sense of feeling weak. So no matter how much I brace or get tight or proper lifting mechanics, I can still feel there's a tightness, and it feels like most of the time it's compression. So when you're at the top of a squat, you can really feel it dig in. It's almost like a pinching on both sides, and it kind of almost goes to the top of the glute, but it's just that lower back spot. So what's weird on the squat is at the top of the squat, you really feel it, but as you lower yourself down, it eases off, because as you know, you're in more moment or torque when your back angle is more horizontal, and then you come back up into more compression. So the physics kind of lines up with the pain. On the press, it hurts throughout the whole movement. So throwing the hips, my back is actually completely locked. It doesn't want to throw, so it just has already protected itself. So just doing a couple of strict press. And then the other weird thing is deadlifts. It feels like no pain, and then as you rise up to lockout, that's when you get more compression. That's when you can feel it kind of dig in. The reason I'm telling you this is you can train through a little bit of DOMs and discomfort, because I was still able to lift, and you'll see what I did on heavy day Friday. I would train my Monday, Tuesday, which were lighter weights, and I had to adapt. That's okay. I sacked off Thursday, had an extra rest day, and did some work on Friday. So the interesting thing that we always say about back issues or injuries in general is most of the time, especially when it comes to the back, motion is lotion. You need to move. You need to load the back and train the muscles like squats and deadlifts, presses and bench, and find a weight that you can do. You're gonna be on that borderline of discomfort, not in pain. So that's kind of where it was. But like I said, it was a unique experience because I was very aware of the pain because it was screaming at me. But at the same time, I kind of knew I was safe. So it's this weird fight or flight that goes on when you're in this kind of place. So the kind of lifts I did on heavy day, I worked up to 220 kilo squat for a single. Then I did a back off set of 3 with 170. I just did 1 strict press with 100 kilos. Then I did a mixed grip deadlift with 220 for a single. And then I did some back off Sumo deadlifts. I know. If you like today's show, comment, like, share, subscribe. You know the business. I'm Kar Raghavan. That was Beautiful Strength. And remember, the barbell never lies.